Good morning. I'm Mary. I'm here with Lexi Keast, president of our student union. And Lexi and I both had some things we were curious about. And so we agreed to get together virtually and see if we couldn't answer a few questions and share some information. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Lexi first. I know you have some questions for me and the NBCC team.
Yes. So first of all, on behalf of the students and the student union, I'd like to thank NBCC for all the excellent resources you provided thus far to follow our continuous learning due to the impact of COVID-19. So our first question, some of the students are wondering, will there be any other financial help coming to assist the students that can't find summer jobs due to COVID-19?
Okay, that's a great question. So we've been advocating with our provincial colleagues within government on behalf of students. And so I can share some good news on a couple of fronts. For starters, there is the SEED program that provides some funding for employers to hire students in the summertime. And there is a job bank. So if students go to mbjobs.ca, there is a listing. I think there's over 1,000 jobs in that job bank right now. So in addition to the virtual and maybe local places that they may look for job opportunities, that is also available to them. But I know that not everyone is going to find what they're looking for there. So we were able to work collaboratively with the provincial government and our NBCC Foundation. And so you guys would have seen the funding that came out that was just announced about a week and a half ago, I guess. We're fortunate that we've had almost 200 of our NBCC students be eligible for that, and they're going to receive that funding. So that's really exciting, and we're really thankful to both the government and the NBCC Foundation for providing those funds. In addition to that, we've reached out to our alumni. As you know, we have tens of thousands of alumni of NBCC who are community builders throughout the province. We did our first direct appeal with them for student critical aid funds. And we've already had a good response. And so we're building up that fund, and we're keeping track of those students who maybe didn't qualify for the other programs. And we're hoping to get enough money fundraised, to be able to support more students who are in need. And in addition to that, we're working with colleges and institutes across Canada to advocate federally on behalf of students as well. So we know that there's more to do, and there's still a lot of people without work, but we're certainly trying. And if anyone has ideas or things they think we should consider, please send them to me.
Awesome. I think that's all great. I think there's lots of options coming up for students and already available. So for our next question, some of our students mentioned having personal belongings and specifically textbooks that they need for this semester specifically. They were wondering, will there be some sort of pickup or any means, or if they can contact anyone to go pick up those personal belongings / textbooks?
Yeah, we're really hopeful, Lexi, with the government focus on recovery, that we're going to be able to have some limited access to buildings. What we've said to students so far is where the government has been very specific about students not permitted in our buildings due in the emergency measures guidelines, that instructors will help to make alternate arrangements to make sure that they have the materials they need and resources they need to be successful in their classes. But we're also just waiting. As soon as we're allowed to even limited access, as you said, we'll focus on pickup and delivery and other compliance related methods of ensuring that people get their personal belongings. But in the meantime, they should know that everything is locked up, it's safe, we have security, so they don't need to worry about that. It will be there for them as soon as we can provide access.
Perfect. That's great news. And one of the most popular questions, what are our options for graduation?
Yeah.
And if the fund for graduation, where will the money go if we're not having our usual graduation?
Yeah. And so I apologize. Maybe we should have given some interim communication on that, because it's been on our mind ever since we knew this wasn't going to be 2 weeks and then go back to normal. We had already started projecting out and looking at the spring term and at graduation. And I have to say that we know that this is a significant milestone for students, for their families, their friends, all the people who support them in getting their education, and we don't want to take that away from them. It's not something you can postpone and do later. That rarely is successful, even when you can do it in a normal way. Um,
Yeah.
so we really want to make sure that we honor this experience and we provide an experience and a forum that it's not going to look or feel the same, but hopefully will be every bit as meaningful for students. So I don't want to steal anybody's thunder or give it away, but we are working on it.
Awesome.
And yeah, we should have something to communicate in the next few weeks. But we do want to make sure you still have a ceremony in some form, and that it's still a momentous occasion for not just the people who are graduating, but their friends and family as well. And so we're working on how do we do that. And in terms of the money, again, that's on our mind, and you can bet it will be consistent with the NBCC values. So stay
Awesome.
tuned.
Awesome. Thank you for that information. And our final question, some students are exempt from their practicum, although this is only, it's an obvious option right now. Will NBCC do anything for those students that were expecting to gain experience from their practicums when searching for jobs in their field?
Yeah, that's a tough part because I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the, well, you hit the nail on the head, right? The vast majority of practicums serve that purpose, right? To provide people who haven't had a job before with job experience that they can go to an employer with,
Yeah.
or for students that maybe have experience but not related to their field of study, that gives them at least a couple of months on their resume. And so we recognize that that's going to look different now.
Mhm.
The most important thing is that all of our faculty have worked really hard to make sure that the skills and competencies that our graduates need to be successful are in place, whether they have to simulate that. So they may not be going to a practicum, but they're still going to simulate or maybe even connect them virtually with different employers to get that experience.
Mhm.
So we're very confident that those students are still going to graduate, whether it's now with a senior project on their resume or something else to demonstrate it. We do have some students, though, that they rely on those practicums to be able to demonstrate certain technical skills that are required for graduation. So we're still advocating with the province, and we're still hopeful that we'll be able to get limited access that we need in order to make sure that those students get to demonstrate those skills and competencies that so that they can meet their graduation requirements. The best news I can say is that, you know, we consistently have high graduate employment numbers. We have over
Yeah.
90% of our graduates are employed, with the vast majority of those employed in fields related to their studies. And what that tells me more than anything is that employers know the value of those certificates and diplomas. It has a currency in our labor force in the province, and I believe that'll still be there this year.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Once again, we do appreciate everything NBCC is doing to help our students during this difficult time.
Oh my goodness. Well, Lexi, it's our privilege. You know what's interesting is we had, as you know, in March, suspended classes for a week so that all of our staff could focus on what happens if. We had no idea that just 4 days later, over the course of the weekend, that if would come to fruition, and we would actually be planning for what do we do now that
Yeah.
we can't go in our buildings. And our faculty and our student success teams, our IT teams, our maintenance custodian, like there's not a person in our staffing complement that hasn't been part of figuring out the way forward.
Hmm.
And so first, huge thank you to all of our staff for making that happen.
Yeah.
But also I know that's not easy. It wasn't easy for them. And I know that students signed up for one experience and now they're getting another. And whether it was our choice or not, it's where we are. What are you hearing from students about what that transition has been like, moving from being in class to now being online or through alternate delivery?
So as we know, everyone learns differently. And most people that do sign up for going to class every day, that's the kind of learning they're looking for. So it has been a difficult transition for students, but I think that after the first couple weeks, we kind of got into the groove of things and definitely still want to get those diplomas. So we're just doing everything we can, and our teachers have been just wonderful on extending deadlines, maybe cutting back some coursework a little bit, and helping us succeed. So that's been super positive for sure.
Awesome. And have you heard anything we don't know what the future looks like. I wish I had a crystal ball, but I keep searching and I haven't found it. If we have to continue in this manner, is there any advice that you would give us about, how to do this even better?
I think that you guys are doing a great job. The only advice I give you is just continue to hear students out. Um, Doing things like this is awesome. Giving the students a chance to have a voice, I think that's always very appreciated. And honestly, as long as you keep going with how things are, I think that's the best you can do.
Okay. Services is another thing. We have a lot of student support services. We have our counselors, and accommodations advisors, and Indigenous. We've moved those things to alternate delivery as well. Are you hearing anything about student supports? And do you think people overall are getting what they need, or is there something we could do different there?
I think overall, everyone is getting what they need so far. I haven't heard any complaints from our students. I think everyone's very grateful to still have those services available if they need them. Talking over the phone or through video, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's still doing the purpose, right? So I think so far that it's definitely going super well, and we are grateful to still have access to those services.
Okay. Well, again, if there's anything that you hear that we could do, by all means, let me know.
Awesome.
So I don't know if you've seen any of my videos before, but I love to do fun facts. And we hear a lot and we talk a lot, maybe too much sometimes, about the challenges related to this emergency health response. What's one fun fact about this experience for you?
So I actually got a new job out of this experience. Chemo Helpline. It's a super awesome resource for people experiencing troubles with their mental health, or it's basically a suicide prevention line. So they needed some extra staff, and I got hired as a part-time staff there. Been putting in lots of hours. Our phones have been ringing off the hooks.
Wow.
But we serve all of New Brunswick and then also PEI. It's been such a rewarding experience so far. I've met amazing people, and I've honestly talked to so many great people, and I can't wait to continue working there for the remainder of the summer.
See, I learned something. I did not know we served PEI as well.
Yeah.
I have to say, Lexi, wow, I don't know if there's a greater need to be served there. So thank you very much for doing that.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it as a citizen of the province, and I have family members who have volunteered and one that still volunteers now. So thank you so much for providing that much needed service.
Awesome.
Talk about transforming New Brunswick.
Exactly. And we have all kinds of social workers working with us now for mental health, and it's just been great. So everyone's kind of coming together.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Lexi, thank you so much for taking time with me today. And if you end up with more questions next week, you call me up and we'll do it again.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for meeting with me, and I'm sure the students will appreciate it as well.
Okay, I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.